Denver is in a win now mode. Welcome back to Sideline Lounge. I'm your host, Joseph Acevedo, and it's been almost 2 years since I've last made a video. We're going to quickly talk about the Jaylen Waddle trade. So, earlier this morning, today is Tuesday, March 17th. Earlier this morning, news broke out that Denver traded for Jaylen Waddle and received a 2026 fourth. Miami received Denver's pick at 30, which is the first, pick 94, a third, and 108, a fourth. So essentially, let's break this down real quickly. Denver, who was one injury away from making the Super Bowl because of Bo Nix, decided to give him more offensive weapons. In my opinion, I'd love to say floor instead of ceiling. The floor is set. Jalen Waddle could be your one or two. Cortland Sutton is still your vertical threat. Granted, I think Jalen Waddle is the better route runner, but just get your playmakers. You got to give Bo Nix your playmakers. Like RJ Harvey could have a sophomore jump or a sophomore slump. It's just that it's that second year where most of the time some people just stutter. Like look at Jaden Daniels. I know he got hurt, but he also took a step back. We're also going to be talking about how, in my opinion, this is really, really great draft capital for Miami. Pick 30, pick 94, and pick 108. You're telling me that Miami, if I remember correctly, Miami has, I think, two first rounders, 1 second, an additional 30, and a fourth. I think, let me check real quickly. I know I'm doing this on the fly right now. Yeah, so pick 11, pick 30, pick 94. Goodness gracious. Yeah. You guys ready to hear this? Within the top 120 prospects, the Miami Dolphins have pick 11, pick 30, pick 43, pick 75, pick 87, pick 90, pick 94, pick 108, and pick 111. How much was that? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, eight. You're telling me that Miami has eight? They have eight draft picks within the top 120 prospects, and I'm telling you, man, the QB class this year is kind of bunched. We all know that the RB room is kind of bunched, but then there's some depth there. The strong points are on defense. Miami in that first round is going to be drafting, and I mean it literally. They're going to be drafting a receiver. I just there's just no way. At pick 11, it is possible that what they do because there's only three receivers and there's no consensus receiver one. It's between Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, and Makai Lemon. My wide receiver one is Jordan Tyson at 6'3" from Arizona State. In my opinion, his film was just significantly better, and then followed by Carnell Tate and then Makai Lemon. Um, we're man, it's about being insane because like Miami, Miami has the opportunity to rebuild this thing within what, a year or three. Their head coach hire from the Packers. I think it's Jeff Hafley, if I remember correctly. Let me check. Yeah, Jeff Hafley. Really good defensive scheme out there. What in Green Bay? What was out there in Green Bay? Now, after Micah Parsons got hurt, their defense slowed down just a little bit and was exposed during the playoffs. But I'm not going to disregard that performance. I think Hafley is going to bring to the table something good in Miami. I think they ran a 4-3 out there in Green Bay. I can always check later, but um I think 4-3 just fits right. And then again, here's what the benefit is for all the other teams. Miami is selling. No, it's a fire sale. They released Bradley Chubb. They let Tyreek Hill walk, and now they just traded Jaylen Waddle. Hell, they even let Tua walk, and they're willing to take the hit in the dead cap space. Now here's the fun part. You know how they just signed Malik Willis? Man, I don't know how Bobby Slowick is going to help Malik Willis. Here's my problem. Mainly because Bobby Slowick was in Houston that first year for CJ Stroud. And we know what kind of phenomenal rookie campaign CJ Stroud put on for us. So I'm just saying, be on the lookout. Granted, Malik Willis was a phenomenal backup. For 3 weeks, he was cooking. And I mean stir fry, barbecue, everything. In those three matchups that he was playing, he looked like a legitimate starter. Hell, he looked better than Jordan Love. And that's not no bug to Jordan Love, but goodness gracious, Malik Willis for backup is phenomenal. It's just like Mac Jones. Like I think like majority of these guys, Mac Jones and Malik Willis should be starting. But let's run through what Miami has done this offseason. So they've signed five corners. They signed edge Josh Uche from the Cardinals. They signed Zane Gonzalez for kicker. They signed two O-line, Charlie Heck and Jamari Slayer. Zane Anderson at safety. Ben Sims and Greg Dulcich at tight end. And then what receivers, Jalen Tolbert and Tutu Atwell. Clearly, you know that they're embracing rebuild. But this is not going to be quick. I think Miami is going for the long run. I think Miami I think Miami now is just looking to build for the future. Malik Willis is your future quarterback. Devon Chan is your future running back. Corner is a need, but I think they I think what Miami does is that they oh my goodness, they could go receiver and then they could go like goodness, bro. Let's see. What can we do? I want to try to simulate that because man, Miami could do something. It's genuinely insane. Now we're gonna switch over to Denver. Like I said earlier, Denver's in win now mode. Um, the fact that they were one injury away from making the Super Bowl is insane. I have to give them the flowers due because they were such a phenomenal defense, but then such a mediocre offense. Like for 3 quarters, they couldn't score, and then in the fourth quarter, Champagne will turn up the Jets or something like that. Denver got dangerous, but they also were one of the teams that didn't really spend that much money. Denver this offseason has only re- has only re-signed players. They brought back Jaquan Millen, corner, both linebackers Alex Singleton, Justin Stroud, backup quarterback Sam Ellinger, running backs Jaleel McLaughlin and J.K. Dobbins, re-signed Adam Trautman at tight end, and brought back Lil Jordan Humphrey at receiver. They brought all those guys back on re-signs, except for McMillan, who had a second-round tender. Jaylen Waddle was their first legitimate free agency move. Denver is not looking towards the draft. They're in a prime position right now. In fact, I think like the reason why they also released Dre Greenlaw was because he wasn't on the field that much, and they also brought back Alex Singleton and Justin Stroud. I think they want more availability than talent. They want to set a high floor. Without a floor, you can't build no house, Like Denver is primed. They need to just find their offense. And Davis Webb, I think, is it Davis Webb? Davis Webb, quarterbacks coach, who got promoted. I think I think Denver can make the jump. Like Denver can make this jump, and mainly because they decided to spend their first and third for Jaylen Waddle. Now, this is entirely out of context and out of topic too. How does this affect Philadelphia trading AJ Brown? Like, think about it. Essentially, Jaylen Waddle got flipped for an early second and a third. Philadelphia wants a first. It is possible that the Patriots bite on this and trade that 31st pick. Very possible. They can always trade that 31st pick and do something similar. I think the Patriots do have the capital this year anyway to do so. I mean, they're also not just like a rebuilding franchise. I think they're also wanting to hit picks. They also want to do, yeah, they have pick 31 and pick 63. So they have the first, second, and third. They have assets this year. But I'm going to say you got to wait until June 1st. The reason why I say that is because, man, oh man, I was just talking to my boy Kalani about this. He was asking me about it. Kalani brought up, Joseph, what's your thought process on Philadelphia potentially trading AJ Brown? I was like, well, you got to look at the pre June 1st trade and post June 1st trade. If I remember correctly, let me let me just grab my phone real quick. Let's see. The dead cap space is significant, in my opinion. Genuinely. If Philadelphia, here's what I said. If Philadelphia does a trade now, they receive a whopping 43.4 million cap hit compared to the post June 1st trade of 16.4. That is damn near 30 million in difference. So, and here's the problem. We don't know what Philadelphia's plan is heading into the draft. It is entirely possible that Philadelphia decides to trade, not a trade, but draft a wide receiver in that first round. It doesn't matter who it is. It is very possible that it is not the top three consensus, but it also could be like receivers like Casey Concepcion. Who else would be there? Oh, Elijah Surratt from Indiana. Like, if I do a quick mock draft about Philadelphia and everything like that, and let the mock draft simulator do its thing, I Philadelphia could be drafting a receiver here at pick 23. Let's see. Or they could, I mean, they brought back Dallas Goddard, but it was on a 1 year rental. Yeah, Kenyon Sadiq and Casey Concepcion and Omar Cooper, they are all here. Like, if Philadelphia wants to opt for it, they could go receiver in the first round. Would I be surprised? No. That would just mean that it's leaning towards a post June 1st trade. Philadelphia is already tight in cap space. They, as much as I hate to admit it, as a Cowboys fan, Howie Roseman is probably one of the best GMs I've seen in this league, outside of Dan Snyder and everything from Seattle. Because goodness gracious, but Philadelphia has a chance to do something similar to what Denver just did. Now, I think the reason why Denver was willing to take the dead cap hit was mainly because they have the money. They know that they're going to a full rebuild. They're not expecting to go, like, oh, this is good. Plus, if you realize next year, goodness gracious, who's that number four? It's not Carnell Tate. It's not Carnell Tate. Who's that 2027 wide receiver prospect that everybody was talking about? Let's check. 2027 wide receivers draft class. There you go. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams. Oh my goodness. Miami could purposely be tanking and instantly replace their receivers with, oh, oh heavens. I can't imagine that. That's insane. So let's put this into context. So like pick 11, because I'm a Cowboys fan and I've been doing so much mock drafts for us. At pick 11, Makai Lemon and Jordan Tyson are often there. Yeah, and like I said earlier in the video, Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate are my one and two because there's no consensus one. Or let's just say 1A, 1B. Goodness. The fact if Miami really just tanks, embraces the rebuild, they can get Ryan Williams or Jeremiah Smith, whoever performs better this year. Um, all eyes on to the 2027 draft class, but of course we need to get to the draft first. Um, I have to say it's pretty insane. So let's recap. Denver's in win now mode. Miami's in a rebuild. They fully Denver has the pieces. They were just missing a very high offense. They already know how mediocre their offense is, but they want to get creative with it. This is the very first time in Sean Payton's career that he has relieved play calls on offense. It is insane. And I'm what, 20 years old? Brother, he's been doing it longer than I have been alive. So, I let him do whatever he wants. But the fact that this is his first time relieving play calling duties is insane. Of course, can't say nothing about that defense. Granted, they lost Jim Leonard, who was their passing game coordinator. He went to Buffalo. But Buffalo is also going through. They're in that mix. They're not rebuilding, but they're not win now mode. They can compete, but they cannot tank either. So it's just like it's like the stalemate for the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco Niners. Shout out to you guys as well. But it's kind of just like that. Miami has the opportunity to build for the future and potentially be ready within 2 to 3 years. Let's not rule them out. They're gonna suck. But that's the fun thing. Like in free agency, the Raiders and the Titans, they went out and spent money. Poor sucky teams spend money in free agency, but it depends how you spend that money. Look at the Patriots last year. Okay, that was once in a blue moon. Literally half of their roster was free agents. And like if I go look at what they did this offseason, like the Patriots brought back not even they didn't I don't think they re-signed anybody. They really just let everybody walk, whoever was departing from them. Granted, I think the Patriots got better. Okay. Um they got Romeo Dobbs last Stephon Diggs, so that's the Stephon Diggs replacement. However, I don't think Romeo Dobbs is a wide receiver one until he proves it. But then again, the Patriots don't need a wide receiver one. Now here's the fun one. Guard Elijah Vera Tucker for the Patriots. Like that one is interesting because if he stays healthy, he's good. But I'm not going to divert from what we were talking about. The Jaylen Waddle trade. I think I think this is a win-win for both teams. If I were to grade them, I think Denver gets an A minus and Miami gets a B plus. It's just for me personally, it's just neck and neck. Of course, I got to see how those draft picks play out. Okay, if they get legitimate starters, the legitimate day one starters, Miami's going to be lethal, especially under the right coaching. Coaching matters. New England's going to be fine. Denver's going to be fine. I'm not worried about them. Then Denver hasn't changed their roster at all. They just brought back the guys that worked for them. And do you blame them? They were one win away from the Super Bowl. Well, that's it for me, folks. I'm going to try to keep things relatively short, especially when we're coming back to Sideline Lounge. I'm gonna just try to keep it knock on wood. For everything that I do is gonna be quick, less than an hour or so. But then again, you guys might get those 1 hour videos and everything. Alrighty, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so glad to be back. Let's get to work. Bye bye.